morning. So I got an interesting request earlier. This is a fight between Wildcat and Moody-M. So Wildcat from AC1 and later on remade in Nexus, and Moody-M from LR. So the deal with these two, the guy on the left, he's kind of, shall we say, had his eggs scrambled. Pretty much super aggressive, mostly on a starter frame, at least for AC1. And yeah, he's a bit nuts. He just pretty much attacks and pretty much acts erratically, and that's about it. Moody-M is a kind of flying laser spammer, with kind of a few quirks in this, which I'll explain later. But yeah, that's really about it for these two. Now, as far as changes that have been made to them, for the Wildcat, instead of his chain gun, he's been given assault rockets, mostly to, well, emulate the whole chain gun thing, but also the fact that his original one stunned for whatever reason. His single missile that he gets remade with in Nexus is, well, originally it fires as a triple missile for some reason, so I gave him that. And then his Moonlight got replaced with the Dagger Blade, because, well, it's similar damage for lower drain, and he actually uses it better. His internals are more or less akin to what they should be. His core got swapped out for the Hanger version. For one thing, he didn't have OB in the original, and for another, the colors actually match the original better. And the legs got swapped out for the 4th gen model, just because, well, also kind of just matching color schemes, and also the fact that the other ones were not available, thanks to, you know, Formula front quirks. So he's super aggressive, nothing in attack or defense strategy. He knows how to use his weapons well. He does not know what the hell he's doing in terms of himself. So his tracking and everything else is all the way up, but his tracking and enemy awareness are all the way maxed out, but he still ends up losing track pretty often, I'd say 1 or twice a fight. So yeah, he's weird. Then the on the right here is the Nova RG, Moody-M's AC. So to make him do his aerial maneuvers like he does in LR, he's been swapped out for the high efficiency booster. He's been given lighter weight internals, so, you know, it somewhat balances out. He's still slower, 7 to 80. He's about 70 to 80% as fast as he was before, but he does not drop himself into charging every 5 seconds. Thing is, that rifle uses a lot, even with the optional part for it. And when it comes to the AI in this, it seems like it tracks how much energy it has left at that exact second. So if it has enough to shoot and to keep flying, it thinks, okay, I'll just do both because I have energy for both, even though it only has enough for one. So it just runs itself into charging, even with all of its efficiency stuff maxed out. It sucks, but either way, he's a little bit slower. And he's been given a radar to help with tracking, because his head did not allow for putting a lot of points into tracking. It does not have a very high capacity. So, alright, there we go. Let's see how this goes. Apparently we are starting off in the Mushroom Factory. This should give a pretty decent advantage to Wildcat. He's got a lot of close-range damage. He's not terribly fast. His rifle doesn't do much, but his rockets and blades are nuts. His missiles are barely even a factor here, because Moody's carrying decoys. So even if he fires all of them, he's not really going to end up getting much work out of that until much later. But because of his higher weapon handling, he's usually pretty accurate with those rockets. Problem there is he's going at the wrong angle to actually fire them. Now, Moody tends to spend more time in the air. It looks like that Spirit is friggin' ripping through Wildcat, though. He doesn't even need to get anything else off. That thing is tearing him right the hell apart. Thing is, the Wildcat is an absolute shell wall, but just like in the original, lasers rip him to frickin' shreds. So we're doing this next. If this one ends up going to Moody again, this next fight's gonna have to be in the desert. Gonna have to do, what's the term? Executive privilege on that one? The Wildcat's pretty slow. He's still using the starting boosters, even tuned all the way up, they're not very good. His triple launcher would be putting in some decent damage, but... Ooh, that slash did some good stuff. If he keeps it up, he might actually get this one. He just can't really take many more of those spirit shots. And he's accidentally doing terrain dodges, alright. Good job, Wildcat. This is going better for him than I would have expected. He's still about to eat it, though, because, again, both those guns are just ripping him apart. He'd have to get in close, get his rockets in, and get a slash in, but he doesn't have enough AP to survive that maneuver. Alright. So there we go. He got rocked once again. I think we're gonna have Wildcat versus Phoenix coming up next. Seems like it might be a little bit of a fair fight. The Battle of the Shell Walls. And yeah, I decided to actually still go random on this more than likely last fight. But then there's going to be an extra round in the desert, because Wildcat has to fight in the desert. You never know, he might actually pull it out here. Yeah, he's tracking a little too hard with those rockets there. Try and do more of that. Slash, go for the slash, you know you want to. He's set up to behave as randomly as possible, so he may just flat out refuse to. Which it looks like he's doing. No, he's still got that cut in. Probably if he got a second one in, it would have been closer, but he's done. That chicken's cooked. Alright, let's see how he does on his own terrain, though. On his home turf. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't make his emblem a little higher resolution when they remade it in Nexus. Now, when I looked it up on the wiki, that thing's kind of a friggin' tiny JPEG. I was expecting more stuff out of it. Like, they would just redo it with all kinds of cool, sharp edges or whatever. Instead, like a little old pixely wolf head. Alright. All comes down to those slashes. Because Moody's not really getting overheated, he got super good cooling. I mean, he's quite a bit slower, but still. It's better than being stuck on the ground. There, Wildcat, you have no friggin' shot whatsoever.